Red Dead Redemption 2. A game about cowboys. The end of the Wild West. The fight of man against civilization. But wait a minute. For being against civilization, we sure use a lot of it in the game, don't we? Our guns, clothes, and everything really was made by civilization. Let's fix that right now. I'm gonna try and play through Red Dead 2 without civilization. That means no guns, no canned food, no clothes. Okay, maybe clothes are still needed. Also, no anything civilized, whatever that ends up meaning. Well, we begin the game and already we've failed. Arthur's wearing civilized clothes and holding a lantern, so really that answers it right there. You cannot beat Red Dead Redemption 2 without civilization. But let's just keep going and see what happens in the rest of the run. We walk up to our first encounter, one of the very hallmarks of civilization. Stationary housing. The game prompts us to shoot the occupants, but luckily we can just ignore it, run up and give these guys a taste of our guns. The uncivilized kind. At the start of the game, we have access to 3 uncivilized weaponry. Arthur's fists, a knife, and a lasso. So after punching out all the occupants, bam, we've destroyed civilization. Or at least one house's worth of it. After that small victory against civilization, we get a chance to return to nature. And really, it reminds me of how horrible civilization can be. Here, it's peaceful, serene, quiet. Luckily, the rest of the game doesn't have to be just punching. You unlock our next anti-civilization weapon right after. The bow. This bow is amazing. Finally, we have a range attack that can match up against some firearms. But there's one problem. The only issue is how am I gonna get more without buy-in from civilization? Unfortunately, shops are civilized, so we generally can't buy anything. Even though we have this awesome ranged weapon now, we gotta be careful with it, or we may have no way to get more arrows. But that's enough prep. We've taken down a house, yeah, but we can do better. Bigger! With our new weapon, we're ready to take down the next hallmark of civilization. The train. After our most difficult fight yet, we've done it. We've taken down a train. The old-fashioned way. Just as the cavemen would have done it. Sure. And with nothing but our hands, a knife, a lasso, a bow and arrow, and this dynamite we're forced to shoot, with the train down, chapter 1 is complete, with 0 gun kills and a few minor uses of civilization. After striking such a big blow against civilization, of course civilization struck back fiercely. Ugh. Back on the wagon. Ugh. I feel disgusted using this thing. I'm trying, but why are we not moving? Whoa, my freaking webcam fell. Luckily, I managed to survive this attempt on my life, but unfortunately we have to drive this disgusting civilized cart to the new camp. We start up chapter 2 and immediately strip off these awful manufactured clothes. It's time to hunt for some all-natural ones. No!
Oh no, this is no fucking way. Nuh-uh.
Am I alive?
No.
Wait, am I alive?
No, you're so dead. Do it! Get after his ass.
Legendary bear hat. After all that work I put in, just to get some uncivilized clothes with my bare hands, you'd think no one would doubt my conviction to uncivilized life. But no. Some people still question me. Go outside, touch grass, and then bring... Dude, I live in the middle of New York.
Bro.
Go grab
you think
grass?
we just conveniently have grass?
I got the grass.
Bro.
Let me go throw that away. If we want to get really technical, I shouldn't even be playing this game. In fact, I shouldn't even be speaking English. English is a product of civilization. As I was saying, chapter 2 is pretty simple, until we get to the last mission. We're forced to herd sheep, and we're forced to shoot near these guys to scare them off, and shoot this guy to kill him afterwards. I tried non-lethally shooting the guy, but no, you're forced to kill him. So yeah, there goes the no gun usage and no gun kills part of the run. Let's just keep going though, see where our uncivilized journey takes us. We save this cool German guy after the sheep mission, and that's the end of chapter 2. To make up for using the gun earlier, I decided to start chapter 3 by beating up these civilized, incestuous people. Right at the beginning of chapter 3, a debate started between me and my chat. Are fences civilization? What civilization? The fence was not civilized. Thieves are not part of civilization. They're called outlaws. They're out of the law. Use money made by civilization to buy supplies. I bartered green tree product. Throw away your stolen goods? Luckily though, I realized that there was a way to resupply. The ledger at camp spawns arrows and throwing knives if you upgrade Arthur's tent and resupply it. This would have been helpful earlier in chapter 2. Even with this new way to resupply, chapter 3 doesn't pull any punches. We serve beer with Hosea and get into a shootout on a wagon. You can't use the bow at all on the wagon. I'm not sure how many shots are needed here, if any. Sometimes I would get really far in without doing anything, while other times I'd die right at the start. Eventually, I just decided to shoot my way through rather than just wait to be lucky. It gets worse. In the shootout after Sean's death, after a really tough fight, we're forced to shoot someone again. And if that wasn't bad enough, in the mission right after, the final mission of chapter 3, we're forced to shoot another person. Chapter 3 was short, but added 2 more mandatory gun kills. Hopefully chapter 4 fares better. Unfortunately, chapter 4 does not fare any better. You can't do anything in this chapter without it somehow involving civilization. In the very beginning, we're forced to enter Saint Denis, a civilized city with paved roads. In the missions, we're forced to enter bars, pay these kids to show us around town, and interact with the mafia boss. That's just the very first mission of chapter 4 too. This all culminates in the mission that was designed to end all hopes people have for this run. Halfway through chapter 4, there's a mission where we are forced to infiltrate a fancy boat. To do so, we need to get civilized clothes, have a barber pomade our hair, ride in a fancy carriage, play a game of poker to win money, and then, after all of that civilization usage, we have to shoot someone. We're forced to break literally every rule in this mission. The rest of chapter 4 is just more and more civilization usage. I could be here all day talking about every single instance we did something civilized in chapter 4, so let's just skip to the end. In the final mission of chapter 4, we're forced to do nothing but watch as Lenny dies, but we can escape without any gun kills. Bit of a Pyrrhic victory though, as we're forced to be in a boat until we've made it. Uncivilized life. People with no shirts. Back to the wild. We've made it to chapter 5 out of 6, but honestly, I think it's fitting to end the run right here, with Arthur back in the wild where he wants to be. Also mainly because later in chapter 5 and 6 there's a ton more required civilization usage, and it felt like it was getting harder and harder to justify, especially after chapter 4. If you want me to keep going, feel free to like the video and ask in the comments. Also, if you want to see the rest of that run, consider subscribing and following me on Twitch here.